Hello, friends. Welcome back to The Art of Violence. Today, what we're going to be talking about and breaking down is the incident that happened last night when Will Smith got so upset at Chris Rock for making a pretty innocuous joke about his wife. He got so upset he got on stage and actually slapped him in the face, allegedly. And the reason I say allegedly is because there is people out there who still don't believe that this is real. They think this was a fake, staged slap. So we're actually going to be breaking it down whether or not this was real or fake. Also, what Chris could have done to avoid being slapped like this and how he could have prevented this if it was real. So let's get into it. Right now, we're going to break it down.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow.
So Chris Rock's turn came up to host the Oscars, and he was slaying it. He was killing it. He was doing a very good job. He was owning the crowd, making jokes, ragging on all the celebrities. And finally, it came time to make fun of Will and Jada Smith a little bit, and he made a joke about Jada that apparently hit and struck the mark a bit deeper than he thought it would. He made a joke about her being G.I. Jane because of her hair loss. She has, I believe, some sort of like autoimmune disease that causes her to lose her hair. And he made a joke about it, calling her G.I. Jane. Honestly, I mean, pretty innocuous. If you're going to be a celebrity like that, not that I would know, but I mean, just being in any sort of public light, you have to be able to take jokes. And this was a very, very harmless joke. And as we see here, Will actually kind of, he kind of liked it. I mean, he doesn't appear to be angry, doesn't appear to be passive aggressive. His facial expressions aren't like, there's no like hidden anger in there. As you see, Jada is super pissed. She looks like she wants to get on stage and slap Chris herself. But the camera pans away, and this is clearly something happens here because we see Will's reaction, and he looks like, he kind of actually thinks it's funny. And then maybe she told him to go do it. Maybe he saw how upset she was. We don't know for sure. And he gets on stage, walks up to Chris, and ostensibly, as we can see, smacks him across the face. We hear the sound. We see Chris's reaction. We see Will's reaction. We see that it even knocked Will off balance. So based on these couple things here, I'm going to have to say this smack is, I'd say it's like a 98, 99% chance this is a real smack. I mean, just the time. I mean, if they were going to do like some sort of audio in the background, the timing would have to be insanely perfect. It would have to be immaculate. They would have to practice it probably a couple thousand times. I mean, for the timing to be that on cue, it would have to be. I don't know how they would do it. I mean, maybe it could be some sort of industry trick they do, but I mean, it just. The way his hand hit his face and his body moved in sync with it pretty well. The shocked look on his face. You even see Will being off balance here, which is kind of a hard thing to fake. I mean, you really have to throw a strike hard to be off balance like that. And for him to fake being off balance like that, and especially in the direct way that the strike would have been thrown, which is very realistic. If you're throwing it that way, your body's going to fall towards that way, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. If it was rehearsed, he probably would have gotten maybe some sort of instructions on how to throw a slap, probably would have looked cleaner. There probably would have been some sort of element that made it look too good to be true. As far as I can see, this is a real slap. I mean, it would be very, very difficult to fake this, and I don't see a reason why. I don't see a reason why they would why they would want to fake this. You see, Will goes back to his seat. You see his face. I mean, his face is just completely changed, and he's screaming, "Don't talk about my wife! Don't talk about my wife!" And man, I gotta say, props to Chris for keeping it together, keeping the show rolling. Took him a second to regain his composure. And, he managed to, just get it all together in a timely fashion and, finish up hosting, which was very, very impressive. So I would have to say this slap is 100% real. Now, what we're gonna get into right now is how could have Chris prevented this from happening? What are some preemptive measures he could have taken to prevent getting slapped by Will like this? So first thing would be, whenever someone's coming up to you like this, you want to create some sort of distance. You want to show them that there is some sort of barrier blocking you, And also you want to keep them at bay in a safe way while simultaneously being prepared to strike. And the best way to do this is honestly just put your hands up, extend one out and keep one kind of closer to home so you can have one to block and keep them at a distance, and also evade punches, and you keep one home usually so you can throw it as well. The absolute worst thing that you can do is just to let someone come into your range like this without any sort of consequence, without any sort of warning, without any sort of push, without any sort of movement, without anything like that. And just, let them walk into your distance, because when they're in such close parameters, hitting you is not that hard. Human beings are, especially someone who knows how to throw a strike. Fortunately for Chris, Will really doesn't. But especially someone who knows how to throw a strike properly, it can come very, very fast from a close distance. Someone could pull out, a knife or a sharp object and, potentially stab you. You might not even see it coming. You might only have half a second to react to it. So it's very important to keep them at some sort of range and distance, as we see demonstrated here. Another thing would be to move away. You don't want to stay stationary. You want to keep them moving, and you want to keep yourself moving at all times. You don't want to stay stationary. It's very important as well to talk to them while they are doing it, like, hey man, I'm good, I'm sorry, we're good, don't do this, stop. And that looks really good to anyone around you, any cameras, anything like that. It also makes them look like the aggressor. It wins over the crowd. It shows other people, this guy doesn't want to fight. He's backing up with his hands away. He's saying, I'm good, stop, we don't need to do this. And the other guy is being, the jerk, the asshole, and pressing the action, which kind of forces social pressure on the aggressor and forces them to stop. Now, let's be real, Will Smith did have the element of surprise, and also, let's be even more real, he did this because it was Chris Rock. He would not have done this to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He would not have done this to Chris Hemsworth. He would not have done this to, Conor McGregor, who was recently hosting, some sort of music video awards when MGK pushed him. He would not have done this, and even then, MGK would not have done that to Conor if they were alone in a back alley, I promise you. He's doing that because there's people around. Will is doing this because he knows it's Chris. Chris isn't going to do anything. Chris isn't a fighter. He knows even if Chris did do something, it would get broken up immediately. He's doing this because he knows Chris Rock is not going to retaliate. It's kind of a very weak move, to be honest with you, but at the same time, it is what it is. A wolf is not going to pick a fight with a bigger wolf who could potentially damage it and injure it in front of the pack. It's going to pick on a smaller wolf that it knows it can beat. It's just the way it goes. So, ending it off, I do think this is real. I don't think this was fake. I think Chris Rock, I think Will Smith wanted to make an example out of a smaller opponent who he knew wasn't really going to be able to do anything or would even attempt to do anything. And if he tried, would have been broken up immediately. If someone's going to enter your range, keep your hands up, talk to them, and move. You don't want to let someone in your range. It's very difficult to defend and block when they're that close and you can't really see what's coming. And last but not least, be able to take a damn joke. That's all for now. This is The Art of Violence, and until next time.